O Jerusalem. You see, before you can start teaching and preaching and understanding Matthew, the persecution, the great tribulation, the coming of the Son of Man, you got to go back a little bit. Okay. What does Jesus say? He says, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those who are sent to you. How often I would have gathered your children together as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, but you would not. Look, your house is left to you desolate. For I tell you, you shall not see me again until you say, Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. You see, the great tribulation, the wrath of God, all this was for, focus, Jerusalem. Jerusalem. It was for them. It wasn't for any other nation. It wasn't for any other culture or any other race. This whole Bible, from the beginning to the end, is about Jerusalem and their destruction. It's not about you. It's not about me. Those troubles and persecutions are about Jerusalem. The Great Tribulation is about Jerusalem. The coming of the Son of Man is about Jerusalem. Which prophets were sent to the Gentiles? None. Jerusalem had prophets after prophets come to them, and they killed them. John, Jesus, Stephen the Levite. I can go on and on. The disciples, they killed them. So you need to read this book a little bit more with more understanding. Let's go over some things real quick, okay? They asked him, when will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Not the end of the world. It was the end of the age. What age was this referring to? It was referring to the old covenant age, the age of law, that old letter that has to be destroyed. That was the end of that age. In order for something new, you have to get rid of the old. So God got rid of that old Jerusalem in order to give them a new Jerusalem. You know, that new Jerusalem that comes out of heaven? It wasn't a literal. Here Jesus says, we'll go over a few points. Take heed that no one deceive you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ. And I will deceive many, and will deceive many. You will hear rumors of wars that took place back then. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must happen. But the end is not yet. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines, epidemics, earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, okay? So a lot of you read this and you turn the news on or you see what's going on in the world today and you say, oh, the world is crazy. That is my daughter. And you think these things that are going on now didn't take place back then. Well, let me tell you something that you didn't learn in world history. Back then it was a lot worse than it is now. Back then kingdoms would just come to your city, your village, and storm it, kill everybody, hang them on trees, take children as slaves, women as slaves. You know, it isn't how it is now. Now we live in a peaceful world. We live in a world where everybody has rights. We have a U.S. military that protects our borders, you know, and everybody wants to act like it's so horrible right now. And this is why Jesus is coming, because there's never been pestilence before. There's never been wars. Nations have never rised against nation. That's BS, man. Study history and you will see, you know, the Great Tribulation was for Israel. See, these things don't pertain to you like this. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet was a Hebrew who was prophesying to the Hebrew people that this destruction was coming. What? Their destruction. Not our destruction, not America's destruction. Let's see what he says. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let me ask you a question. If you live in a flat plain city, how are you going to the mountains? How is billions of people going to flee to the mountains in modern day? They can't. What does he say? Let those who are in Judea. I don't know if there's a Judea in America. Okay. Let him who is on the housetop not go down to take anything out of his house. Here we go. Do we go to housetops and pray in America? Does the Christian church go up to the housetop and pray? No. They don't even know what a housetop is in the East. Let him who is in the field not return to take his clothes. Here we go, another one. You're not going to be in a field. Woe to those who are with children and to those who nurse in those days. Pray that your escape will not be in the winter or on the Sabbath. Why? On the Sabbath, they're taught not to work. So if your escape is on the Sabbath, I'm sorry, you're not going to make it because you're not even allowed to do anything on the Sabbath, right? You can't gather things to go, strict laws that don't pertain to you. For then will be great tribulation, such as has not happened since the beginning of the world until now, nor even shall be. When he uses the term world, he's not referring to the whole entire globe. He's referring to the Jewish world. They had their own meaning of world. They had their own temple, which resembled their heavenly heaven. Everything the Jews that you read is so different than how we read it now in our day. And these are just a few points of things that are so obvious for you to see that this is not for us, that this has been fulfilled. And what you were taught to believe. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why we come, 2021, and the Bible is the most sought after book in the world. It's the most best-selling book in the world. There's a reason, because you're taught that first off, you're taught that you're this evil person who is in need of a savior because you're just so horrible and bad. And there's a reason why we have this book now. There's a reason why we have all these churches. There's a reason why we have all these denominations, and none of them get along. You have 50 churches in one city, and none of them get along. They all have different doctrines. And there's a reason why. It brings in money.